Okay, so I'd like to call to order the December 16, 2020 Morgantown Utility Board regular meeting to order. We had the minutes of the November 10, 2020 meeting provided to us in the read ahead. If there's no corrections or deletions, I'd like to have a motion to approve those.
So moved.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Barbara moves, I second.
Okay. I move to approve the minutes for the regular meeting of November the 10th, 2020 as submitted.
Okay, will you second that, Karen, please?
Yes, I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the minutes of the November 10, 2020 meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
There's Tom. Opposed? None, so the minutes are approved. Public portion, are we aware of anything, Tim? Or
No, sir. As we've been doing under the Zoom format, we've invited public comments by phone or email, and none have been received.
okay. So we'll move on to new business. And the first item is new city manager Kim Haas.
Yes, sir. Mike McNulty and I met with the new city manager, Kim Hawes, last week. We had a very pleasant, wide-ranging discussion. I think we got off to a really good start. And so we invited Mr. Hawes here just to introduce himself to the board and to make any opening comments that he might have. So Kim, the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's great to be here with all of you. A few of you I know, most of you I don't know, and I hope that not far down the road we have a chance to cross paths and talk a little bit and share your vision so I can understand it more clearly. I really enjoyed visiting with Tim and Mike the other day and kind of understanding the vision that MUB has developed over time and seeing the excellence in service that's being provided. As a background, I've been a city manager for about 35 years. In each one of those circumstances, I've been involved with utility development. And I'll tell you, I certainly have a unique perspective in understanding how important utilities are to the vibrancy and quality of life of any community. I've also understand clearly that when it comes to growth and development for any municipality, the utility process of extending utilities and making them available for potential developers is so important. And so I look forward, really, I look forward to working with Mike now coming up and just spending some time helping him understand where this, what kinds of things are happening in the city and what's happening in MUB and how we can work together. When I was at Bridgeport for 20 years, one of the things I did down there is we created the BUB after MUB, the Bridgeport Utility Board. And so I went to every one of those board meetings and understood the function of the board and how important and what kind of role you play. So I hope you know that I'm here to support. I'm here to do whatever I can to make your jobs easier and to help make this thing work. Please, at any time, if you have any concerns or any questions, pick up the phone or come by the office. I guess that's not so easy anymore, but I'd love to have you come by and say hi and just introduce yourselves or let's go out and talk. Do you have any questions for me and kind of my background?
I'd just like to welcome you to the city, Kim. My name's JT Strathis. I'm chairman of the MUB board presently. Yeah, we basically welcome all communications. I'm sure you've with your conversation with Tim and Mike, you've probably heard some of the stories from the past. So all we're asking for is that we sort of work together to basically the common goal, right? Which is
Well, you
a
know,
thriving community.
yeah, in some ways, well, in many ways, we're codependent on each other. How's that?
Yes.
We can't really do anything without you, and you can't do a whole lot without us. I mean, that's by design, I think, and because of that, it makes a lot of sense that we should be working closely together and making sure we're going the same direction so that we're not crossways with one another.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So thanks for sharing some thoughts, and I just want to introduce myself and Barbara. Anybody else have anything they'd like to?
I would just like to welcome Kim. I'm curious, you've only been here, what, 2, maybe 3 weeks now, and we're
Yes.
happy that you met with our organization, but I'm just curious, having been here in such a short time, do you have some top 2 or 3 priorities that you're focusing on right now?
Yeah, I had an opportunity to meet with Russ Rogerson this morning, and have been in several meetings of the Development Authority, and I think there's so much happening that is going to require the city, MUB, and all of our resources to pull together to make happen to help mitigate Mylan going out of business. I think we've got to take that seriously, and whatever we can do to stimulate growth. I think there's some ideas, and I shared some of those with Mike and Tim, how the city can help stimulate economic development in our area. I think we need to be a player in that, and not a passive observer, because we have a lot to bring to the table. So that's number one, is economic development. I'm really concerned about our downtown. It needs to become it's, whether we like it or not, when people come to Morgantown, it is the face that they remember of us, and so we need to the city needs to take a real active role in how do we improve the development of the downtown and make it more appealing. And so that's going to be a real big source of emphasis for me. And finally, I just I want to be known as a good communicator. So developing good relationships and good networking, I think, is key for all of us to be successful. So those are my first 3 big things to hit the ground running with.
Terrific, thank you.
Yeah.
You bet.
Yeah, Karen. You're muted.
Karen, you're mute.
Thank you. I want to say welcome to, but also I teach graduate public administration, as Tim has been a guest speaker, not nearly enough times because we love him, but I just want to offer our students, ourselves and our faculty and our students in our department, if there's anything we can do. Students tend to be, no offense to anyone who's been a student, free labor.
So I have a couple of master's degrees. One is in public administration, so I understand that clearly. And in fact, in other communities, I've actually gone in and given talks or had discussions with public administration students. I'd really like to involve your students in some of our intern issues, and see a real value in that.
That'd be fantastic. And projects, research projects or development projects that they can help you with would be fabulous for them. So
absolutely, count me in.
Absolutely. Well, I'll invite you into my class in the spring.
Ooh, I'd love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Kim. I'm Sarah Keaton. I'm the newest MUB board member, but we're just so excited to have you on here in Morgantown. I know I'm a lifelong Morgantown resident and I live downtown now, so really excited to hear your energy and thoughts towards, continuing to improve our Main Street and downtown. I work in environmental science and water cleanup. Have worked with some local organizations in downtown to kind of keep our rivers and streams clean. So really getting excited once you get your feet under you and this COVID nonsense kind of starts clearing up to talk with you more and hopefully get to know you better, but really excited to have you. It's really nice to meet you.
Love to spend some time with you, Sarah. That would be good.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Kim, I just wanted to say thanks again for taking the time to come over and meet with Tim and myself. Uh, Kim and I have already laid out a groundwork on how we sort of plan to communicate with one another. And we've already agreed that we're going to set up some monthly face-to-face meetings and just spend time and keep that open line of communication. So I can say that I'm very excited about the opportunity, and I really look forward to it.
Likewise here. I just think it's going to be really a good working relationship.
Yeah, I'll echo those same remarks. I think that Kim and Mike have established a really good foundation for the goals that Kim described about good communication and cooperative relationships and building a strong relationship. So I think we're off to a very good start, and it's all our meeting was very positive. So again, Kim, thanks for that.
You bet.
And this is Tom Witz, and I'm sorry, my phone. I do a lot of Zoom calls, and for some reason today and other previous MUB meetings, my initial login, sometimes I'm not able to connect, and it may be partly due to the fact that I live in the county. I'm the only board member who is from outside the city of Morgantown. I was selected in part because of my utility experience that I've had in the Cheatneck Public Service District, which is now part of MUB, but I'm also a retired economist with WVU and involved with economic development. And we look forward to working with you as we go forward, recognizing that indeed a lot of the growth of MUB is outside the city of Morgantown, and we need to acknowledge that some of us play a role in advocating the continued economic development, both not only within Morgantown, but outside, because I think that benefits our customer base in general.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, well, I think this is a great start. This is something we haven't had too much experience with, open communication like this, just letting everybody voice their thoughts. So we appreciate you coming into the meeting.
Thank you.
Tim,
Thank you for the invite. And if I mentioned this to Tim and Mike, that I'd like, I think part of it is making sure that my staff is more aware of what's happening with MUB, so that they can be better neighbors also. And so don't be surprised if a number of my staff from time to time come by and just sit down and participate in your meetings. I think that's important for them.
always welcome.
All righty. Thank you all. I've got to run, but this has been important for me. So thank you so much.
All right, stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Very good. Thanks for setting that up, Tim, Mike. That was good. Good start.
Yes, sir.
Christmas bonus.
Yes, sir. A Christmas bonus has been a custom at MUB. Last year's bonus was $100 net of all deductions, and I request and recommend board approval for the same generous gift this year.
Okay.
I agree.
Looking for a motion.
I move to provide each employee a Christmas bonus of $100 net of all deductions.
I second.
Okay. Motion and second to provide the Christmas bonus of $100. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Okay. Banking signatures.
Yes, sir. With my pending retirement and the promotion of Mike McNulty to general manager on January 5th, we need to update our banking records at United Bank. Most of actually all of our routine banking is done through United Bank. And I need to be removed from the signature authority, and Mike needs to replace me. So we've provided a draft motion that accomplishes that.
Okay.
Okay, I move to direct the general manager and comptroller to notify United Bank that effective on January the 5th, 2021, Deputy General Manager Michael McNulty will become General Manager and will be authorized and designated by the board to have signature authority on the board's accounts, replacing that of Mr. Timothy Ball, and that the signature authority of Assistant General Manager James W. Fetty and Comptroller Deborah Osborne shall continue unaffected by this change.
I second.
Okay, motion and a second to notify United Bank that the signatures will be changed from Tim to Mike on January 5, 2021. Questions on that motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes. Corporate resolution.
Yes, sir. The corporate resolution is very similar to the action you just took for the general banking accounts, but we have our investment management account at BB&T, where our essentially our reserve funds are held. And the same type of motion is necessary to revise the corporate resolution to reflect my retirement and Mr. McNulty's promotion.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the updated corporate resolution as presented, delegating authority effective January 5th, 2021 for General Manager Michael McNulty, replacing that of Mr. Timothy Ball with the signature authority of Assistant General Manager James Fetty and Comptroller Deborah Osborne continuing, unaffected by this change, with an executed copy thereof to be included with the minutes of this meeting.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to approve the updated corporate resolution that we have in our packet, delegating authority January 5 for General Manager Mike McNulty to replace Mr. Timothy Ball. Any questions on that motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, the motion passes. Okay, old business, Coben Creek.
The Coben Creek Reservoir, our contractor there is Kanawha Stone. Kanawha Stone is now 54% complete. So if you track those numbers monthly, you can see that they are changing at a better pace than had been the case. But Kanawha Stone still remains behind schedule. They've recently delivered to us an updated schedule that showed an even later completion date of September of 2022. That's quite a bit later than originally estimated or projected. Mr. Fetty has presented a change order to Kanawha Stone that addresses the need for that time extension and the resulting cost. As you might expect, the terms of that change order are now being negotiated by our attorneys. So we're not getting total pushback from Kanawha, but we don't have total agreement on all the language of that change order yet either. So Jeff and Kanawha's attorney are working through that. Jim Fetty has an updated video tour for you from the recent drone flights. So I'll turn the floor over to Jim.
Okay, I hope you can see the screen.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this drone flight was taken last Wednesday, so it's fairly current. And winter has hit us here. Along with that delayed schedule, we're now, the contractor is temporarily ceasing fill operations due to the weather. And this will probably be the case throughout the winter. It's going to be hard to expect much fill to go in there. The spillway work here to the right is continuing. You see a couple sections of the flip bucket at the bottom have been poured. There's a lot of concrete work left to do, and that will most likely continue through the winter. It will not be halted. At least I don't think it will be. And they should really finish that concrete work up probably sometime late spring, early summer, if all goes as planned. With the fill operations shut down temporarily, the contractor is now going to have to protect this area as best they can throughout the winter so they don't have to undo any of it when work resumes. They've tried to put down some blue tarps that when they did this earlier, it worked and they were able to put some more fill on. I'm not sure how successful this will be throughout the winter. Probably more importantly is the black tarp you see running across the screen where my cursor is. That's protecting the start of the chimney drain that will progress when fill resumes. It will progress up the slope of the core material. It's a very important component of the dam, and we don't want to get any dirt or materials like that in there. Kanawha will have personnel on site. They'll be assisting the subcontractor at the spillway work as needed. They will continue to try to process material as weather permits. Being in the winter and the narrow range of moisture that's required in the fill material, that they will probably focus on rock for the face of the dam. So they'll try to process some stuff, but mainly it will be rock for the face of the dam, as I said. This just shows you one of the borrow areas that's we're still using. That's borrow area C. As we pan over, you'll remember that we've got some stockpiles here to the right coming up for downstream shell material. These piles here is probably where they'll focus on trying to get as much rock as they can. So when they come out next spring, hopefully they'll have enough material to go. They will also continue to maintain E&S controls on site through the duration. They have to check those periodically after rain events and such. And you can see in the background the silt trap excavation has started. That's halted as well. As you see, a lot of water to deal with there, but they have some of that started. So again, winter's hit us. That's what's probably slowing some of the schedule down to the dates we're hearing now. But unfortunately, it's just where we're at. I am optimistic that come next spring and summer, they should be able to get the dam up to its settlement elevation fairly quick, because a lot of the hard work is done. So it's kind of where we're at.
Thanks, Jim.
Sure.
Any questions on that for Jim, guys? Yeah, just big disappointment in the dates, but I guess we're all there.
It is, and just to go ahead and throw some detail out, we will incur what I've called in my notes an overhead cost, just by virtue of having staff assigned to this project and actually on site to witness whatever degree of progress is achieved. We have hired inspectors that are on site to observe the work daily. So we do incur a monthly cost that, of course, will go up as a result of the longer duration of the project. We've proposed to the contractor that we should recover those costs from the contractor on a monthly basis. And I don't think they've really argued with that suggestion. The argument that we have right now is that they would like to retain the right to make their own claim at the end of the project to potentially reduce those costs that we charge to them. The contract has a provision in it that requires them to make timely notice of any claim. They've not given us any notice of any claim, and therefore our position is that there is no basis for a claim since they've not notified us that they have one. So we still need to work through that. We're talking about reservation of rights. And so again, the good news version of this is they have not directly rejected our proposal that we begin to charge them for these costs monthly. We're just arguing about other details that they would like to have addressed in the change order. So I think we'll get somewhere. And the bottom line is we do have sufficient contingency funds to cover the cost of the resulting overrun, but we feel that those costs at this point are more appropriately borne by the contractor than by us.
Sure. Okay.
So in the change order, are they asking, is it just a change order for more time? Are they asking for more funds to do the work?
They have not answered that question. They've simply asserted that they want to reserve their right to potentially ask for some relief. And
Gotcha.
that unspecified relief probably would take the form of additional money to them, because it costs them the same, much like us, it costs them monthly additional cost to be on site.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you.
But they have not given us the information to answer your question.
Right. Forthcoming. All right.
Right.
Finally made it. Finally made it.
Okay.
On related work, the raw water line has been completed except for some very minor testing and cleanup work that ought to be completed by the end of January. And recall that we had that environmental mitigation project in Preston County at Fike Run, where we're doing some natural stream restoration. That work is 70% complete now, but is shut down for the winter. So they'll have some planting and reseeding and vegetated related work to complete, and they'll need spring weather in order to complete the rest of that project, but it's moving smoothly also.
Tim, will we utilize the raw water line as once it's completely completed?
I don't envision that. It is, although it is not yet connected to the raw water line from the original dam and reservoir at White Park. And so, no, I think that line is going to sit idle, waiting for the new dam and reservoir to come online. Once the new dam and reservoir is online, we will have some work to do at the original dam and reservoir in White Park. And then that's when the raw water line will be connected to the existing raw water lines, because we'll need the new reservoir in service in order to take the old reservoir out of service. So that remaining work to interconnect the raw water lines needs to wait until the new reservoir is completed.
Okay.
May I ask, do you anticipate some public concerns about taking the old water line, the old reservoir, redoing that? Because I worry that a lot of people go to White Park and they use that area and they really comment on it and hang out there. And I don't know exactly what we're going to do yet. I know we've talked about it, but
the work will be on the spillway and in the control tower. There's a small control tower that actually sits out in the water near the dam, and we need to replace some valves there. We will not be deconstructing the dam by any stretch. So the dam and reservoir will remain in place. The reservoir will be partially dewatered, but I don't think any more than it has already been partially dewatered for some of the, when we crossed the reservoir with the raw water line, we partially dewatered the reservoir in order to have less of a conflict with the water. So no, we don't really anticipate any public outcry or protests over that work to essentially rehabilitate the working parts of the original dam and reservoir.
okay.
Okay. Okay, so we ready to move on to the wastewater?
Yes, sir. That contract is Ullman Schutte is the contractor. They're 95% complete now. I'll refer you to the newsletter, which has some good photos that shows the degree of architectural completion there. Plus the aluminum cladding has been put on the digester, so it looks a lot more finished now than it did when it was a raw concrete cylinder. That contractor is also behind, but they've attributed their delay to force majeure conditions resulting from the pandemic. And they have done a decent job of justifying most of that delay. They've asked for 222 days. We've identified 88 days that we do not agree with. And so we've challenged them to provide better justification for those 88 days. But essentially, the vast majority of their delay is justifiably related to COVID. And the contract provides that's a force majeure condition, which essentially means it's no fault, that there's no money that exchanges hands because of that delay. They bear their cost, we bear our cost, and we all just agree that bad luck happens, and we all share that burden equally. So that agreement is pretty well in place, other than resolving that 88-day difference, and that's really no big matter. And then the same assurance applies. We have sufficient contingency funds to cover whatever our cost is for that delay. The work that's recently been accomplished or is still underway is testing of the electrical pumps and control work for the new digester, and mechanical upgrades to the existing activated sludge clarifiers. That's the trio, the three clarifiers that are on the southern end of the site closest to the Arboretum. The rail trail goes, they're right adjacent to the rail trail if you walk past the plant. We're also doing a lot of site grading, seeding, paving, testing and balance of the heating and air conditioning systems, testing of the new sludge thickening and polymer system, relocation of the staff to the new maintenance building, and as I said, completing architectural finishes in that upgraded control building. So that completes my report on the wastewater plant. We don't have a video of it. None of the changes are really visual at this point. And again, those several photos in the newsletter provide a good update on the architectural status that's been achieved. We're almost ready to occupy those new offices and labs.
Good, nice job. Okay, well, at least something's close to, at least that's close to being on schedule, right?
Right.
All right, we'll move on to the GM's report. Tim?
Yes, sir. Well, as we had hoped that COVID might be gone by now in March when we first began dealing with this, but obviously that hope has not been realized, and COVID continues to challenge us even more each day. So our offices do remain closed, and all of our COVID protocols remain in place and reinforced, and directions refreshed to the staff. So that we all protect our health for our own selfish benefit and for our families and for our community as well, because our people are critical. The performance of our people is critical to the health of the community, and we're all aware of that. Financial impacts continue to grow modestly at this point. Again, the lion's share of our costs were incurred at the beginning of the pandemic, but we still do have costs related to some sick leave and personal protective equipment, that kind of thing. So far we've received and been approved for $268,000 of CARES funding. We have a pending request for $6,000 that I'm sure will be approved and received. Recall also that the governor added a new component of CARES assistance for individuals who have delinquent utility accounts. We had 1,686 customers who were eligible for that relief, and their combined delinquency was $250,000 in round numbers. There was a November 12th deadline, I believe it was, for applying for that relief, and we received 435 applications out of 1,686 eligible families. 435 applications that did receive $81,534 of assistance. So we received payment on behalf of delinquent customer accounts equaling $81,534 out of a $250,000 eligible balance. That's both good news and disappointing news. The utilization should have been much higher. There's no reason for it not to have been, except that those customers needed to apply and did not.
So Tim, that's basically a grant dollars. So those customers had their bill paid partially or in full, and they're up to date, or how's that work?
There was a specific window of time that went from March until I think July 1st, for which this assistance was available. So the CARES funding paid the delinquent amounts for that time period only. If these customers had additional delinquencies after July 1st, those delinquent amounts were not eligible and were not reimbursed. And so to that degree, those delinquencies may continue. But we're working with those delinquent accounts to set up deferred payment plans so that we can stretch those payments out and hopefully collect them at some reasonable pace from the delinquent customers.
Do you think because there was such a poor response, I assume it was poured all over the place, that the governor might reopen that, or?
I would hope so, but I've honestly not heard anything through the industry grapevine to reinforce that expectation. Jeff, Mike, have you heard anything to that nature?
I've not heard anything at all. There's been no feedback from the standpoint of the program as a whole. But there was a max payout of 25 million. So, and there's been no numbers provided as to how much of that was used.
And it was also disappointing that I think it's safe to say most of the major utilities around the state did not take advantage of this program. They looked at it and predicted the kind of disappointing response that we got, and they made the judgment that it wasn't worth their time it wasn't worth the utilities' time and effort to assist the customers and pursue the funding. So I think the governor's office would look at that as a failed effort and that they could redirect the monies to be more beneficial someplace else. Honestly, that's how I would perceive it if I were managing that money. But we took the opposite approach. We said we're all in to whatever extent that it helps the customers and helps our delinquent accounts. We're gonna participate and cooperate, and we got $81,534 to show for it. So
Yeah, well, good for us. And so, okay.
Tim, I have a COVID-related question. Now that the first rounds of the vaccine are being distributed to first responders and healthcare workers, one of the reports I read indicated that some essential personnel who are not in the first couple of categories might include some utility workers. Have you heard anything about that as it might relate to particularly MUB employees who might be eligible to receive this vaccine before it's open to the general public?
I heard something of that nature through an unofficial channel just last night that did confirm my hope that our essential workers at the utilities would be included in the prioritization, so that I think we're going to be treated equally as the first responders. And but we've not had official confirmation of that yet, and we will reach out to the county agencies, including the health department, to confirm that. But I think that's a long way of saying, yes, sir, it's my understanding that we will receive priority access to the vaccine.
Good, good.
Okay.
And then, Mr. Chairman, if you will indulge me, that's concludes most of my GM report, but I'd
Yes,
like to
sir.
make some parting comments.
Absolutely.
So I will retire in just a little over 2 weeks. January 4th will be my last day in the office, and Mike will take over on the 5th. It's been truly an honor and a privilege to work for MUB for 33 years, and especially to be the GM for the last 10. MUB is a special place, and I can't say that enough. We perform at a degree that most people would never believe for a municipal organization. Our staff is top notch. I'd compare our staff to any staff anywhere by any standard. The board support has been phenomenal. I've seen and worked for bad boards before, not at MUB, but I've seen how it should not be done. And at MUB, I've enjoyed seeing how it should be done. You guys set the example for proper governance and for proper board and management relations. And it's been a complete joy to benefit from that and to work with you. So I thank you for all your guidance. And I'm getting choked up. I didn't think that was going to happen, but I thank you for your support, and I thank you for your exemplary conduct. And I also thank you for your friendship. My last comment is I'll leave you in good hands. It's been a joy to watch Mike McNulty come into the organization and to watch him grow and strengthen the relationships with our staff that he already had a head start on. And I've seen him interact with other officials already. And I know you're in good hands. You've got a capable leader. And Mike, we're all expecting big things from you.
Thank you.
Right. Well,
I know that we're in good hands, but you will be so sorely missed. Notwithstanding Mike, we're really happy to have you here too. But Tim, you will be very missed.
yeah.
Thanks.
Well, thanks, Tim. Those are kind words for us. But yeah, and we realize this will, I guess, hopefully be your last board meeting. We don't have to have anything happen. And, we want to try to thank you and give you good wishes as well. In these times, it's, we weren't able to do and put together an appropriate send off as we had hoped. Bev tried a few options, but it just wasn't going to work. So they did do Bev and the staff did do a nice job putting together a video for you of some of the past and present board members' comments. But first, I'd like to make a few comments. I think I started on the board in 2000, give or take a year. So I've been working with Tim for 20 years. I did notice in some of the photos that we have a couple things in common. One of them is the color of our hair's changed. Each of ours has changed quite a bit, Tim. But when I try to think of some words that come to mind when you think about Tim Ball, professional, communicative, fair, firm, very encouraging, definitely goal-oriented, very accountable for both his work as well as his team's work, and a team player. I always felt like that Tim, when issues were negative and results were negative, Tim took the blame. Tim took the hit. And when things were going well, Tim praised his teammates and gave credit to his team, which I think is an ultimate sign of a great leader. As far as being on the board, I always felt like my role as a board member was to be supportive and to give guidance. And I try to do that. And anytime Tim called, wanted to talk, I was there for him but he was always prepared. He didn't come without multiple scenarios, multiple what ifs, multiple answers, just sort of looking for maybe something that he couldn't see or something that he needed to be shown that he was on the right path. And I think that worked well. I don't think I ever told him the answer. I think I just suggested, and then he took all the information and made his decision. And I think that game plan worked out well for us, for both he and I, and for Mub. And we had a couple doozy scenarios that we worked through. But ultimately, Tim found the solution to all those problems. So I'd like to just say from the board, from the staff, from the organization, from the customers, from myself personally, thank you for what you've done for Mub and for the community. Did an awesome job. And, your last job, if it was helping and assisting with your replacement. And I think, again, you did an awesome job in that, helping us work through the potentials and coming up with Mike as the answer. So job well done, buddy. And I wish you the best. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the family. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate those remarks.
So Bev, what do you got for us?
Can I please add one more thing?
Sure.
Tim visited my class several times to talk about change leadership and to teach my graduate students what really good leadership looked like. And I just want to say, as you were talking, some of the things that he talked about in class, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions, things like that. Tim absolutely embodies and exemplifies all those good qualities that he shared with my students about what good, really good, imaginative, innovative leadership should be. So it was a joy to watch him walk the talk, in essence. What he tells my students, what he taught my students, was exactly what he practices in real time. And it's really exemplary, and it's just an amazing thing to see.
Agreed. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we tried to have a PowerPoint presentation ready for you today, right up into the last 10 minutes, and we've lost it. So unfortunately, the video we cannot play. We can put it in a Dropbox and let everybody view it at a later time. But the board does have a gift for you, Tim, and hopefully you took it home with you today and you could open it in front of the board.
And here's the gift, and here's the note that I was given. So when Bev says do something, or if Bev says even more emphatically do not do something, you listen to what Bev says. So here's the box, unopened so far, Bev. Says to Timothy L. Ball, Morgantown Utility Board, 1988 to 2021. Thank you for your years of service.
Oh, that's pretty.
Very nice.
Thank
Beautiful.
Very nice.
I'll put that right here on my desk, and it will be in my sight whenever I'm working, and it'll be in my mind when I'm not working. So I'll be thinking of it more often than I'll be looking at it.
And I would like to encourage you to watch our board meetings on television. Perhaps you can do that remotely.
Tom, he's going to retire, not be tortured.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the journal, waiting for some hopefully semi-intelligent thoughts to be entered into it. And it says, have journeys, not destinations. Go slow, stop, explore, experience, and enjoy. This is your time together. And a quote from St. Augustine: the world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page. Well, that's,
So we know you're a note taker, so it's your job to fill it up.
Right.
and I'm a traveler, and my wife and I are both travelers, and those are exactly our plans. I've described to most of you that one of my biggest retirement goals is to hit the road without an itinerary. Just go where fate takes us, and so we'll do that. And then there's also an envelope here, looks like a check, and I'll not be so crass as to open it right now, but thank you very much for whatever that says. It's much appreciated. All of the experiences over the last 33 years are much appreciated.
Thank you, Tim. Like I said, I'm sorry we didn't get to see the video, but I'm sure you'll enjoy it once Bev gets it to you.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing it tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Awesome.
Can we have some kind of a celebratory picnic or barbecue or something once we are finally able to get together as a group?
Sure.
Be great.
We're the board, Karen. We can make those rules, right?
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay.
I'd go ahead and mention that Mike was also brought me a very generous gift this morning, and that was a surprise and much appreciated. So, Mike, that was a wonderful gesture.
You're welcome, Tim. And JT, if I might just take a moment, I want to thank Tim for his time working with me and mentoring me here. But also, more importantly, I think giving me the freedom to go around the utility, meeting with senior staff and all the key folks here, and giving me time to integrate with everyone. And it's been a real, a great experience in that respect. And I really appreciate it, Tim. It means a lot. And I think it's really helped me get a good grasp of MUB. And, come a couple of weeks, we'll be able to hit the ground running even faster than we already are.
Well, a smart guy taught me a long time ago just to surround yourself with good people, wind them up, and get out of their way. It didn't take much to get you wound up. You came pre-wound. And so all I had to do was get out of your way. So.
Fair enough. Okay. Any other comments? I'm sure there are, but.
I just wanted to say, Tim, we've known each other, 30 years, I think?
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
And Tim also did presentations for my leadership class. And were you in that leadership class at one point?
I was. I think I was in your second class.
Okay, so I just want to take credit for all of the wonderful things everyone said about Tim today. Now you know. So Tim, I really appreciated your help and support. You've always been there to do that for the business as well as for your friends and people that you work with. So just know that I left a message on the film that we made. So I'm not going to make a big speech today, except to say I've really enjoyed knowing you and working with you, and hopefully we'll see each other some in the future.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Okay. If no other comments, do we need to go to executive session, Tim?
Yes, sir, we do. We need to do a little bit of serious business.
All right. Sorry to hear that, but so we need a formal vote. We need a motion and a formal vote to get there.
Yes,
I
sir.
move to convene an executive session of the Board of Directors under the provision of West Virginia Code 6-98-5 4B12 to discuss matters related to litigation, legal issues, and further move that the December 16th, 2020 regular meeting of the Board of Directors be adjourned at the conclusion of the executive session.
Second.
Second.
Okay, motion is second to convene an executive session. Any questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we'll move. We need General Manager Tim, Deputy General Manager Mike, and General Counsel Jeff to participate. Bev and Deb and everybody else, Chris, have a nice holiday. Stay safe. Jim, Betty.
Now,
Thanks for
season
everything.
greetings.
Thanks for everything, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
I'll be in touch to sign that document.